Good morning, students, and welcome back to the class. Today, we'll be moving on to a new chapter after our first term. Okay, so today we're going to learn about food we get from plants. So, now what are the types of plants that we know of or we can see? On the basis of the size and the type of stem, plants can be grouped as trees, which are huge, shrubs which are short plants, even herbs are short plants, climbers and creepers are plants which need support to move or grow upward. Okay, now the first thing we'll be talking about are trees. Okay, so what are these plants? These plants are big, and what else? They have single thick woody stem called trunk. So the thick woody stem that we see is called a trunk. It is generally covered by a thick and rough bark. So the stem is covered by a thick and rough bark. So have you noticed whenever you go and touch a tree, it's always very rough. So what does that do? That protects the stem. This thick bark around the tree protects the stem. So for example, neem, mango and banyan tree are examples of trees. All huge trees like neem, mango and banyan are example of these huge trees. Moving on to shrubs. So all of us have seen shrubs. Flowers are also shrubs. Okay, flowers, plants that have flowers growing on them are also known as shrubs. Okay, now these plants are generally smaller than trees. So like I mentioned already, they are always or generally smaller than trees. And now they have many thin woody stems near the ground. So they are very thin and they are woody, but they are very thin stems and they are always near the ground. If this is the ground, they're always near the ground. So they appear like a bush. So all of y'all know that we call shrubs or herbs also we call them as bush, which is always stems that are near the ground. They grow very low, they are very low, they grow. So that is why we call them also a bush. Okay, so for example, rose, hibiscus and cotton plants are example of shrubs. What are they? Your rose, the hibiscus, cotton plants, they're all example of shrubs or bushes. Now, moving on to herbs. So all of us have heard about rosemary or bay leaves or mint, parsley, basil, oregano, all these coriander, all of these are called herbs. What are they called, children? Herbs. These plants are known as herbs. Now, what are herbs? These plants are generally smaller than shrubs. So, shrubs are already small and herbs are even more smaller than shrubs. Now, they usually have a single non-woody stem. So, these herbs have no woody stem and they are also single. And what is it? They are very delicate. They're very, very light and they are green in color. What are the examples of herbs? Coriander, spinach, and mint are examples of herbs. Okay, moving on to climbers. Can all of y'all see the picture? Yes, these are grapes, isn't it? Okay, so climbers is these plants have weak stems and need support of other plants. So climbers are plants which need support of other plants. Why? Because they have very weak stems or they need walls or they need sticks. They need other plants or walls or sticks to help them climb or to help them move up. So what does this do? They attach themselves to support with the help of the thin curling stems called tendrils. Now, their stems are also called as tendrils. Why? Because they are very thin and weak. Okay, and they curl around, they curl, they make curls. Okay, so what are examples of climbers are bean, Grapevine and bitter gourd are examples of climbers. So bean, the grapevine and bitter gourd are examples of climber plants. Now coming to creepers. So all of y'all can see the picture. Yes, tell me what vegetable is this? Yes, very good. It is cucumber. Okay, moving on. About the plant creepers. These plants have weak stems but heavy fruits. They have very heavy fruits. Or we saw one, that is cucumber, is a vegetable. So the stem can't hold the plants upright. So now because they have very weak stems and they have heavy fruits or vegetables, they can't hold the fruit or the vegetable. Why? Because the stem is very weak. Now, the plants grow along the ground. So what happens? They grow along the ground. Why? Because they can't hold the fruit or the tree, is it? The fruit or the vegetable, isn't it? So that is why they are always growing along the ground. Now, watermelon and strawberry are examples of creepers. So, what are the examples of the creeper plants? Watermelon and strawberry. Very good. Now we're going to see edible parts of a plant. That is, parts of a plant that we can eat. So another word for plants that we can eat are known as edible. Okay, certain parts of the plants are edible and are used as food items. Stems. Stems are certain plants are swollen and sometimes juicy as they store food. Plants such as sugarcane, potato, and ginger store food in their stems. This is very important. Plants such as sugarcane, potato, and ginger. These store food in their stems. So these are the plants that store food in their stems. So what are they once again? Sugarcane, potato, and ginger. Okay, and these stems, what do? We eat them, isn't it? We eat sugarcane, potato, and ginger too. Okay, moving on to roots. Now, roots of plants such as carrot, turnip, and beetroot are thick and fleshy because food prepared by the plant is stored in them. Because what happens? They prepare the food and it is stored. So, what happens? It is thick and very fleshy. Okay, now we eat these roots as vegetables. So what happens? They prepare the food by the plant, they store them, and they are very thick. What are the fruits? Carrot, turnip, and beetroot, and we eat these as vegetables. Moving on to leaves. Most plants prepare and store food in their leaves. The leaves such as spinach, cabbage, and lettuce can be eaten raw or cooked. So you can eat it either way. Either you can cook it or you can eat it raw. So what are these leaves that we eat that is coming from the plants? They are spinach, cabbage, and lettuce. Okay, moving on to flowers. The flowers of some plants store food and are edible. So again, I said edible means you can eat. So the flowers of some plants that produce flower, what they do, they store food and we eat them. So for example, cauliflower and broccoli are flowers that we eat. So cauliflower and broccoli are the flowers that we eat. Okay, moving on to fruits. The fruits of some plants are edible. Banana, mango, orange, pear, and guava are fruits that we eat. Now, in a plant, they are able to produce fruit. And what are the fruits that we can eat? They are banana, mango, orange, pear, and guava. These are the fruits, or even more like bananas. And all of these are fruits that we eat. Okay. Now coming on to seeds. Now can you see there is wheat, barley, rye and maize and oat and even millets. Okay, so these are seeds. Seeds are very small in shape. Okay, now the seeds of some plants are edible. Again, edible means you can eat them. So rice, wheat, maize and barley and kidney bean and chickpeas are different types of seeds that we eat. So we can also eat seeds that are coming from the plants that is edible. So what are they? Rice, wheat, maize, barley and kidney bean, chickpeas. These are the few seeds that we can eat. Now, the edible seeds of plants such as rice, wheat, maize, and barley are called cereal. So they are called as cereal. What are they? Rice, wheat, maize, and barley. Why they are called cereal? The seeds of wheat are used to make flour. So when you grind wheat, it becomes into powder form, isn't it? So then what happens? You can use the flour to make your rotis or your chapatis or whatever it is. So that is why these are called cereals. Now, cereals are also called food grains. Cereals are also called food grains. What are the cereals? Rice, wheat, maize, and barley. Now, the edible seeds of plants such as green gram, kidney bean and chickpea are called pulses. Now we have two types of seeds. They are called cereals and pulses. Now what are pulses? Pulses are also called seeds and they are edible. And what are they? They are green gram, kidney bean and chickpeas. They are called pulses. Now, lastly, coming to nuts. The edible parts of some fruits and seeds are eaten as nuts. Most nuts have a hard shell covering them. Some common nuts are cashew nuts, almonds, and walnuts. Now, plants give fruits also, and fruits and seeds, and they are eaten as nuts. So we eat nuts, isn't it, children? So our almond, the cashew, the walnuts, all of these are fruits that are coming out, or nuts that are coming out from the plant. Okay, so this is where we have learned so far, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you for joining me, children.